Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. This is video part 2. We're going to take a look at those Game of the Year lines that were just released from the South Point Hotel and Casino. I've got Chris Andrews here in town. And Chris, I got to ask you, not me, this is coming directly from Johnny Detroit. And he gave me orders, and he said he wouldn't put the videos up if I didn't ask this one. He wanted to know what the hell you were doing setting Penn State as a 14-point favorite over his Michigan Wolverines.
Well, with all due respect to Mr. Detroit, I'm going to issue this challenge right now. We're going to have an Irish whiskey bet on this game, too, whatever it closes at with the points. But really, you look at Michigan, they lost an awful lot. I think it's 10 guys off their defense, 7 off their offense. And even though Jim Harbaugh, I have great respect for him as a coach, and he's recruited very well, there's like an ebb and flow, and he's still not quite there. He's still not up to Nick Saban. Not that he's not as good a coach as Nick Saban, but I think the program isn't where Alabama is. The program isn't quite where Ohio State is. Conversely, on the other side, if you look at Penn State, they had a lot of things, a lot of guys coming back, and a lot of the problems during that transition with Sandusky and, of course, Paterno and Bill O'Brien. A lot of those problems have been addressed, and I think James Franklin deserves a lot of credit. He kind of had a patchwork offensive line those first couple of years. Well, last year it kind of came together, and I think this year, I think there's 2 games he has on his schedule where he's not going to take his foot off the pedal, this being one of them and Pitt being the other one. So 2 touchdowns I know is an awful lot. By the way, we did get bet pretty strongly on Michigan from guys that I do respect. So we're down to 10 with that game. So a lot of money did show on Michigan. I respect the money. In this business, you have to respect, as a bookmaker, you got to respect the money. But I don't think my rating was that far off. I like Penn State now at this at the new number.
Was that the biggest bet one from the openers?
That, I believe, is the single biggest bet. I have 4 games marked on my sheet that we got moved rather substantially. First was Stanford against San Diego State. I think San Diego State's a pretty good program, and it seems like they're getting a little better every year. And I love Stanford, but I guess I didn't love them quite enough because a lot of money did show on Stanford, and I think that's not a knock on San Diego State. I think it's a compliment towards Stanford. So that one got moved rather significantly. Another one was Washington State versus Colorado, and I have Washington State actually a couple times. And money showed on them in every case. So I may have had Washington State a little bit underrated. That's a hard one to pick. Leach is kind of a...
We've seen the movie before.
Yeah.
All offense, no defense. He's got his quarterback.
Yeah. No running game, So, but I think I may have missed the boat a little bit on that one. And again, I got to respect the money, and it did show in Wash State. And the other one I want to mention is Oregon. And I think Oregon's a very, that's going to be an interesting team because they got a new coach. The old coach came in and replaced Chip Kelly, and I think everybody just thought it was just going to be, just carry on, boys. Everything's going to be fine.
It was all right the first year.
Yeah,
you could.
Yeah, it was actually very much all right that first year.
Which again, you're coming in, you're still got the groceries that the other guy stocked the pantry with.
Exactly.
And then when you got to start getting your own players in there, then it starts heading south.
Yeah, and I think this year, I still think they're going to be in a little bit of a transition. However, as I said, money showed on them, and I have to give a great amount of respect to the money because I know the guys that did bet it. I'm watching the faces, believe me. And really almost anybody betting these games of the year at this point, they're pretty sharp guys. So I got bet on Oregon in a couple of spots. So those are the 4 teams I've made some pretty good adjustments on.
Now, on the game, the Michigan-Penn State game where you had a 4-point move there, is that a case of like the same 1 or 2 guys just keep getting in line and hitting the same number till they got to 10, or did you have multiple guys that you respect come in and hit that game?
On that game in particular, I had multiple guys bet it, and we don't just move half a point at a whack,
Yeah.
So we moved at a point, sometimes a point and a half, depending on who was betting us, what number we were on, more so than who's betting us. Because like I said, I respect everybody that was betting us right now. But 4-point move for pretty strong players who took the points, and but different guys. So obviously, I do show a lot of respect towards those guys.
In its purest form, coming out with these numbers like this when you're the first house, it's a chess match. I mean, really. I mean, because we talk about, everybody talks about beating the closing numbers when you're talking the week of the game. Your sharp players, one of the old adages was sometime I want to get you in here, and, everybody likes to say, well, maybe they didn't win the game, but we beat the closing number. Well, I would rather have a bad number and a winning ticket.
No doubt about it.
than a good number and a losing ticket. That's one of those metaphors that I just don't buy into. And I know long haul,
if you beat the number, you're probably going to be okay. But I'm like, if I was out there betting, I'd rather have a winning ticket than say, geez, I got 7 points the best bet. I'm really smart, although I lost this bet.
You lose it. But it is, you against the other guys, because the market will adjust itself on game day, and you got a lot of public money, especially in the NFL. We know how much public money comes in that can affect the line, because for every one guy that might be betting, $10,000 on a game, you got 100 guys betting, their $100, coming in. So the masses can move a line too, and it's a difference of, who's moving it. But like we said, when you're doing these games, this ain't average Joe coming in and betting a game 4 months in advance in the end of May that even knows who's on, coming back on the teams and do their works. And, we got guys, that are going to be coming up here on the videos when we're done in doing them. Brian Leonard and, Ralph Michaels, these guys do their homework, and, they sit there and get there. And they like what you're doing, because they like to attack the numbers. But there was another sports book in town that used to do this first, and you guys kind of beat them, and it hurts. I think it hurts their numbers, because now it gives them an opportunity to see some of the movement, helps them make their numbers a little bit sharper. So that helps them out in a way, but it also hurts for the action, because there won't be as many loopholes there or misfires in numbers when they come out with theirs, because you're going to sharpen the numbers up.
Yeah, and by the way, we are increasing the limits as we get beat around a little bit. So we'll be up to, and our standard is, we take 5,000 at the counter, 3,000 on the phones. So we'll be taking 3,000 pretty soon on these games, just because. And if we put them out, and right away Jimmy says, "Oh, we're going to do $1 million on these games," and I said, hey, I don't know about that, Jimmy. And after seeing the action, I said, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right, Jimmy. I think we'll do $1 million here.
Props to you, sir, and I appreciate you coming in, and continued success with the South Point. And good to have you back in town. I know every trip when Brian and I would make a trip up to Reno, your last home stomping grounds up there, we always got together, and I don't know why, we're always around a plate of food.
I was going to say, we've been known to share a meal or two, and
and you've done
take a look. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, a week or so ago, I sent out a photo with a very good burger spot, and you were the first one in there to jump in.
You're kidding me? Yeah.
So
I'm on high alert for
we'll
stuff like
continue to do that. But again, kudos to you, seriously, with bringing these out first.
Appreciate it. Thank
you. It's easy. The industry, copy and paste is easy to do in
Try
this industry.
Not to do that. Yeah,
and to be a rebel, which you've always been, my friend. Good stuff with that, and continued success with VSiN. And
thank you very much. All the same to you.
And tell Gil to quit calling you Chrissy, okay? Or get a blonde in there. Yeah. All right. Special thanks to Chris Andrews from South Point Hotel and Casino. If you're in there, stop by, say hi to Chris. You'll find him behind the counter most days, or at the hot dog cart next door to the sports book. I've seen him there a few times too. Yeah. And guys, if you want to pick up a 3-day all-access package from WagerTalk, it's the best way to do it. You don't miss a play. You get all of the plays for 3 days from your favorite capper, and it's just $49. It's the most economical way to purchase a package at WagerTalk. Check it out. It's a revolving 3 days. You pick whenever you want to start. You get 3 consecutive days. We'll be back with more at WagerTalk.com.